In 1962, Housewives used the same old casserole recipes every week. Beef and corn casserole, tuna and potato chip casserole, salmon casseroles, dishes made from pre-prepared ingredients. Most food was canned, processed, fried, and only a small portion was fresh and healthy. Fast food became popular and was consumed as much as possible. McDonald's made a debut. Even Domino's Pizza began making delivery. Television ads showed happy housewives with their happy husbands and happy children eating TV dinners, disgusting entrees contained in aluminum tins. These moms thought melting Velveeta cheese on dishes was fancy cooking. Homemade meals was thought to be labor-intensive, and with TV shows such as I Love Lucy, whose main character struggled in the kitchen, folks began to think only grandmas had the time or skill to make 5-course meals. These citizens of 1960s America did not know that their palates and plates were about to be revolutionized. After watching an episode of a gourmet cooking program on February 11, 1963, their stomachs and taste buds hungered for more complicated, flavorful, tantalizing, and interesting morsels of deliciousness. Julia Child introduced the rich flavors and easy-to-master techniques of French cooking to America, revolutionized America's attitude towards the culinary arts, and started a revolution that made gourmet cooking possible every day and launched the gourmet cooking channels on today's TV. Child studied French cooking at the Le Cordon Bleu cooking school in Paris, France, starting in 1948, and remained a student there for over a decade, when her husband, Paul, was on assignment for the Office of Strategic Services of World War II. The French chefs were astonished with Julia's enthusiastic and spirited attitude. Soon after graduating from Le Cordon Bleu, she and two of her colleagues, Louisette Bertoli and Simone Beck, opened an informal cooking school in their Paris apartment. The three also co-authored a 2-volume masterpiece bestseller cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. Which was published by Knopf in 1961. This cookbook showed the appliances and ingredients in each recipe, making it easy for home cooks to comprehend and follow the recipes. Child premiered her signature TV program, The French Chef, on WGBH on February 11, 1963, which showcased her fun, witty, encouraging personality. People followed Julia Child and her recipes throughout the U.S. After The French Chef ended, many other gourmet programs and cookbooks followed from her, such as From Julia Child's Kitchen in 1975, which separated the appliances and ingredients into 2 lists instead of 1, a revolution in cookbook layout. Through her TV programs and cookbooks, Julia Child introduced the rich flavors and easy-to-master techniques of French cooking into the United States of America. Like the French, Child cooked with multiple sticks of butter. In fact, Child states, if you have enough butter, anything is good, and fat gives things flavor. In the 1960s, besides the flavors of food being ordinary and somewhat boring, people also had a certain attitude towards home cooking. This attitude came across as only certain people could cook, and home cooking was too time-consuming. Through Julia Child's witty and fun disposition and her cooking shows, she extinguished that idea. She often made fun at her errors while cooking, never editing them out, and further encouraging her audience. Child encouraged her audiences even further while cooking with words like, the only real stumbling block is fear of failure. In cooking, you've got to have a what the hell attitude, and no one is born a great cook. One learns by doing. Child also proved to her viewers that although gourmet cooking can be time-consuming, like making a half-an-hour cheese souffle, it can also take almost no time at all. She supported her thesis by cooking 30-second French flat omelets in a wide skillet. Child showed America that the culinary arts are a cup of fun and a cup of enjoyment, no matter how time-consuming it is. She said, "This is my invariable advice to people. Learn how to cook, try new recipes, learn from your mistakes, be fearless, and above all, have fun. Child also encouraged, find something you're passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it. In these ways, Julia Child revolutionized the attitude towards home cooking in America, changing it from being selective and lengthy to fun, passionate, and enjoyable, and delicious. Through her 3 Emmy Award-winning cooking programs, Julia Child started a revolution that made gourmet cooking an everyday possibility, as evidenced by the 2009 hit movie, Julie and Julia. Based off the bestseller book, this movie follows a true inspirational story about how Julie Powell was inspired by Julia Child to cook all of Child's recipes in Mastering the Art of French Cooking in 1 year. Other chefs inspired by Child include Alfred Portal, Elizabeth Carmel, David Myers, Sean Ergat, Graham Elliott Bowles, Lachlan Mackinnon Patterson, Mark Geyer, Emma Lagasse, and Clark Fraser. Lagasse, one of today's most renowned TV cooking stars, sees Julia Child as his mentor. He appeared multiple times on her show, Cooking with Master Chefs. Chef John Besh called Child the ambassador of French cooking. One should not fail to mention all the gourmet cooking shows on today's TV, and all the stars made of them. Julia Child's debut of her cooking shows on WGBH in 1963 paved the way for airing cooking programs on television today, and made stars out of everyday people who are excellent chefs, such as Paula Deen, who also cooks with multiple sticks of butter, Giada De Laurentiis, Guy Fieri, Ina Garten, Alton Brown, the Neely family, Sandra Lee, Melissa de Arabian, Bobby Flay, and of course, Rachel Ray. While Julia's TV programs started a revolution that led to channels on today's TV, like the Food Network and the Cooking Channel, she impacted our society today in other ways. Child's topic of cooking gourmet French food increased the popularity and demand of it in the United States. Today, it is easy to buy popular gourmet French food such as baguettes, frozen creme brulee and custard, pre-made microwavable omelets, frozen quiches, and frozen eclairs and cream puffs, all for a cheap price at your local supermarket. Also, ingredients used to make gourmet French favorite dishes like onions, stock, and Gruyere cheese for a delicious French onion soup are easily available. As a result, sales of food in grocery markets have grown, thus helping the economy financially. Socially speaking, the people that watch today's cooking programs on TV often try the new recipes and communicate the results to their family and friends. Therefore, the new recipes go from person to person, making them more popular and well-known. The Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. dismantled and reassembled Child's actual kitchen from her Cambridge home at the museum as its own exhibit as a tribute to her impact on America. In the 1960s, after Child aired her TV programs, the ideal flavors of food went from so-so, unhealthy, boring, and mundane, to interesting, flavorful, and delicious. More food was freshly made instead of processed and canned. People began using Child's recipes in lieu of their own, and as a result, influenced the new flavors of food. Because of this newfound influence, today's food is much more flavorful, new, and interesting than it was in the 1960s. Besides easy access of French delicacies, we have Stouffer's gourmet frozen meals that taste like they're fresh out of the kitchen, instead of TV dinners, along with boxed and fresh pasta and fresh jarred sauces. Our 21st century chefs are always confecting new dishes and creating new flavors. Today, we can easily cook flavorful gourmet food whenever we want, and this is all because of Julia Child.
And bon appetit, this is Julia Child.